So I want to talk about another topic in this area of,
Yeah,
just your journey and what we've talked about before, which is this idea of people pleasing.
I
And
know it well.
you may have some things to say about
I
this.
do. Yeah.
So let's talk about kind of the origination, like the psychology structure of why people begin to people please. Like, what are they looking for? What are they trying to feel safe in? What were you trying to feel safe in? How does that actually benefit us to some degree, but then ultimately start to kind of bait and switch? It starts to take us a different direction. So let's talk about just a natural, um, like beginning stages of why people start to people please. What was it for you? What did it make you feel? What did it give you?
Look, I think that I think in many cases it's how to whom we're born and how we're raised and the type of environment that we grow up in. And like I think that my people pleasing tendencies probably started early on where I wanted to be like a connector and I wanted to make sure things were organized. I
Mm,
wanted to make sure things were dialed in. When my brother and I were younger and he's 4.5 years older than me, I was the one that was like calling all our friends to set up play dates and swimming and this and that or the other
mm,
because I wanted things to be like cohesive and I wanted
mm.
things, everyone to be happy and to be
Yeah.
fun and all those things. And I think ultimately, I think it comes from this place of um, wanting to not disappoint, number one,
Mm,
wanting to make sure you are doing everything you can to make sure people feel like positive and loved and all these things. And you just do whatever needs to be done because you feel like that's your responsibility, right? You don't
yeah.
want to let people down. And I think that that is something that is developed over time. And now I think that there's like I think there's goodness rooted in it, but I think when it becomes to the point where um you always defer to pleasing as opposed to A, being honest, or B, what do
What do I
you need?
want?
What
Yeah.
do I want? What do I need? That's where I think it can become destructive. And I
Mm,
think oftentimes um, you don't realize it that it's happening to the degree that it is. Sometimes until it's too late, quite truthfully, you put
mm,
yourself in some tough positions. So it's something that I've struggled with probably my entire life.
yeah.
And I think the first step is just acknowledging it and then starting to take small steps towards like being confident in who you are, what you do, how you do it, like, and
Yeah.
making decisions that are sometimes being selfish is okay,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like it's hard, but it's important. You have to. You get exhausted if you don't.
Yeah. I think, the spouses and the children suffer the most from those people pleasers because they're giving so much of their emotional energy, so much of their life, so much of their energy to other people. And
Yeah.
then their spouse and their kids, they're the husband or the wife are gassed after people pleasing all day long, and then they don't have much left over. And I think spouses and children can kind of feel that energy. They can kind of feel that exhaustion.
Yeah.
Um, when really it's almost like confidence in who we are and setting healthy boundaries is a process of conservation of energy.
Hmm.
It is like I have gotten much better to where I tell Charity, I'm like, there are certain people I just don't give my emotional energy to. So they'll be around me. I can just tell they're exhausting personalities. They're self absorbed. Everything's about them. They're asking for everything. And I will literally emotionally just kind of be flat in front of them
Hmm.
and not give a whole lot of responses, or I won't even mirror too much, with my eye contact or my smiles, because what I'm doing in that moment is I'm recognizing, hey, here's someone who has the ability to take way more than I'm willing to give.
Right.
I need to make some choices to make sure that I set some boundaries internally through my face, through my emotions, through my words, that I conserve that because there are people like myself, my wife, and my kids and my close friends that I would like to give the best of myself to.
Yeah.
And most people look at that and be like, oh, you're being kind of rude or short. It's like, well, when someone across from you doesn't have good EQ, emotional quotient,
Yeah.
they're not going to notice in the first place that you're not attuned to them because they're thinking about is themselves. So you don't
Yeah.
have to feel bad about it. Let their pain of not being seen or wanted, whatever's going on for them, let there be their thing and not pick it up. So that's something that I think for leaders, myself included, I've had to really think through what does it mean to conserve my emotional energy and do a really good job at setting boundaries. It also involves on how many people I go hang out with.
Right. Yeah.
Because if I'm at social events all the time and then I'm coaching people all the time, I really need to conserve. Okay, I can only see so many clients at a time,
Right.
um, and things like that.
Yeah. I think that you are 100% spot on. And, as I reflect on my journey over the last couple of years, I mean, JJ, she and I have had a lot of conversations. I was the picture you just described, which was I was giving so much to everybody at work, late night phone calls, early morning calls, breakfast, lunch, dinner, drinks, work, all, giving so much to other people that I was, um,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say entirely ignoring, but I was definitely putting my wife, JJ, and
Yeah.
the kids totally on the back burner
Yep.
and myself on the back burner. And
Yep.
it's those are the people that you're closest to. It is so unfair and it catches up with you,
Yeah.
right? And so we only have so much we can give. The other thing I think about is like um, if you're spending time with people who just take, 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 as people, we need to receive also, right? That's
Yeah.
just inherent in who we are. And so you're right. If the people are just simply taking and they're not actually engaging you, they're just talking at you,
Yeah.
like that is just not a healthy environment to
Yeah.
be in, you know?
Counting how many questions they've asked you in a 30-minute conversation. And when you realize it's like one and you've asked all the questions, it's time to move on to a new relation, like a new conversation. But what I've learned also is it's twofold, right? Like one is this unhealthy person on this side who's really in their anxiety, I've found, that doesn't know how to create space to let you ask them questions. So they're just talking, 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 talking. But the other side is sometimes on the people pleasing side, we have to do a better job of not asking all the questions. Like sometimes we're really uncomfortable when we get asked the questions and then it's turned on us and we quickly turn it around and then ask another question. Like we deflect a lot.
Yeah,
And I think for people who are givers, not takers, I think sometimes we do need to do a better job of feeling the freedom to just talk about what's going on, the freedom to
yeah,
share what we feel without being asked, and the freedom to, because most people aren't going to ask questions, but we can open up and share
yeah,
and not feel bad about that.
yeah, for sure. And I think, um, this idea of um, another part of people pleasing is not wanting blank space in a conversation, right? Like silence is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe there's nothing being said right now.
Mhm.
And so you tend to overcompensate. I candidly know I do this because I ask a lot of questions. And I think it's out of like this being uncomfortable with silence for 5 seconds, for 7 seconds. And then I just rattle off 42 questions. And I actually never give them the opportunity to
Mm,
ask questions. And like you just have to be okay with like
yeah.
just slow down,
Just
right?
calm,
Like
calm, centered, patient. Any
correct.
anxious presence breeds anxiety. Anxiety breeds anxiety.
Yep.
Calm and peace breed calm and peace. So I think that's really important when we go into conversations. I can read instantly when I'm talking to people whether they are full of anxiety and they're moving really fast and they're asking a lot of questions and they're hyped up. And what I'll typically do in those settings is I will play a very calm presence because what I'm trying to do is just balance the room and energy. Because if I start to feel anxious, then we're like gone, we're
Yeah.
lost.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just
100.
just sometimes or if you feel someone is really down and flat, sometimes meet them there, but also come with a little bit more energy, a little bit more charisma,
Yeah.
and sometimes that can help.